Episode 104, Goodbye Uwharrie. Now, I've often wondered how come we don't call male sleeping cows bulldozers. Hello, welcome to the 10 Minute Off-Road Podcast. I'm your host, Nicky G. I'm here to delight your ear holes with all things off-road for the next 10 minutes or so. Why 10 minutes? Well, that's how long the pot pie has got till it's done. And I'm serious about it. I got a pot pie in the oven. You know, now I think I've said that before, but, 9 times out of 10, I do have a pot pie in the oven. I know they're microwavable, but oven toasted is the best. I'd like to say that this episode of the 10 Minute Off-Road Podcast is brought to you by me. I'm the only one who does this. Nobody pays me to do it. I don't pay anybody to do it. It's just me doing it for you, and I appreciate you listening. This is a portion of the podcast where I go over all the boilerplate, where you can find us, how you can contact us, and stuff like that. But I don't have to, thanks to AI. So take it away, my enslaved AI interns.
You're listening to the 10 Minute Off-Road Podcast, the podcast for the off-roader with a short attention span.
You can follow the 10 Minute Off-Road Podcast on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Never on TikTok. You can listen to the 10 Minute Off-Road Podcast on whatever the hell you're listening to it on now, including Apple Podcast, Amazon Music, Spotify, Odyssey, Podbay, Podchaser, Pocket Cast, iHeartRadio, and on YouTube.
Got something to say? We would love to hear from you. Just contact the 10 Minute Off-Road Podcast at 10minuteoffroad@gmail.com. That's 10minuteoffroad@gmail.com. Or leave a comment on our YouTube channel.
All right, thank you, enslaved AI interns. This week I want to talk about Uwharrie National Forest here in North Carolina. That's where I kind of cut my teeth on wheeling and off-roading, and it's where I met a lot of good friends out there. But the past few years I've been kind of dwindling down. Last year I didn't go as much. This year I bought a season pass. I gotta tell you, it's August, and this is the first time I've been to Uwharrie. The Great Smoky Mountain Jeep invasion was going on. Had a bad experience last year. I won't say bad, but I didn't care for it last year. To me, it's getting too big for the venue. It's too crowded. But, a lot of friends were up there. I decided to skip it this year. I was feeling kind of down, didn't want to be around a bunch of people elbow to elbow. And, at my height, I'm smelling a lot of armpits. So I skipped it. I decided to go to Uwharrie for a day. And, I threw my camping gear in, and I ended up spending the night out there. Best night ever out in Uwharrie, all by myself. Found a nice little secluded camping spot that nobody wanted, I guess because it was kind of small. It was just perfect for me and my hammock. But went out there, spent the night. Next morning, got up, decided to do a little wheeling. And I got to tell you, it was very dull, very boring. There's challenges out there. Don't get me wrong, but Uwharrie just don't make my pants dance anymore. Came across a kid that he was sitting on the side of the trail. I thought he was broke down, but he was just taking a break, eating some lunch or whatever. And he asked if I would go on Dickie Bell and help spot him. And good Lord, the kid didn't know what kind of trouble he was in. But so I went up Dickie Bell, and they made some changes to the big obstacle, the big hill. And he had a Toyota Highlander, I think. But it was slightly modified, and he went up it lickety-split easy. He didn't need me to spot. He could have done it. I guess he was just lacking confidence. But they put in a bypass that goes around that whole hill. And so I decided to take the bypass. Not that I'm afraid of the hill. I just wanted to see the bypass. And so I took it, and then it takes you around the whole thing. It's nice graded that so now even Subarus can enjoy Uwharrie. But when I went to leave Dickie Bell, get onto the main road, they had the gate blocked off, and they put in a new trail or extended the Dickey Bell Trail. I'd say, I don't know how long, but it was a little bit longer than it needed to be. And I didn't like it. They're ruining the trail. You had a good trail, it came right out on the road. Now they kind of take you up the mountain, sort of. There's no shade, no nothing. I don't know. I did not enjoy Uwharrie. So I left the OHV trail early and just started driving around. And come across a dirt road, went down it. It ended. And I thought, well, there's roads here for a reason. I'm just going to hike down and see what's at the end of the road. And I came across a fire ranger tower. Old and abandoned fire ranger tower. And if you've ever been up them, you get some phenomenal views from up there. This one, I started to climb up it, and it was a little rickety. I've definitely climbed up worse, but I kind of got nervous because I was by myself, and if I fell and broke my leg, I'm a good quarter of a mile from the Jeep. I don't think I could drag my fat butt down a mountain that far. Or if I fell and even worse, broke my neck or back or something. So I decided to turn around, climb down, come back another day. It's easily accessible, so I could do it. But hiking back to the Jeep from the fire tower, I thought, there is so much to see and do in Uwharrie, and the National Forest Service doesn't do it justice. They just push the OHV trails into kayaking. But there's a lot to Uwharrie. And so I've rambled on about 10 minutes now, so I'm going to wrap it up saying I'm done with Uwharrie. I think I'm not going to get a season pass anymore. I'll just get a day pass for the 2 or 3 times a year. I plan on going out there. I plan on being out in Uwharrie in October for All-Wheel Drive Fest, which is always a hoot. If you're in North Carolina in October, look up the All-Wheel Drive Fest. It's AWD Fest. They have a Facebook page. I went last year and had a blast, even though I busted my Jeep. Yeah, I was rolling with a Honda Pilot, a Subaru, and I can't even remember what else. I was the most built vehicle there, and I snapped a control arm. It was very embarrassing. But anyhow, if you're in North Carolina, go to Uwharrie. There's a lot to do there, a lot to see. You could easily spend a good weekend there. It's the smallest national forest. To me, I think there's plenty to see. You're not going to see the waterfalls like you see in Fiska. All right, so I've rambled on long enough. I'm going to wrap this up. As always, thanks for listening, and wheel what you got and be happy.